Bam, bam. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome in. This is Sleazeball. Welcome to the YouTube channel. This is going to be my stardom, sit-em running backs for week 2. I will give you 3 tiers. I'll give you the green, the yellow, and the red. The green's obviously the must start, the red, the must sit. And in the yellow, I'll give you a reason why you should maybe start this guy or not as a flex option as you go through it. I will also give you a bold call at the bottom, which I'll put once the YouTube goes away. And I will give you a crazy sit-em call of the week. Also, I like to just make a crazy call to provide different content than like other content creators. So you're just going to give you the flat out, start this guy every time. So as always, guys, if you like the content, like and subscribe. It helps your boy out a ton right at the bottom of the screen. Let's dive into it. I'm going to get rid of the YouTube scroller. Here we go. Throw the bold call up of the week. There it is. And I'll get into that at the very end. Let's start with game 1 here, guys. It is going to be the 49ers at the LA Rams. So, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, when I was looking at the draft board of the top 3, everyone had Justin Jefferson, CMC, McCaffrey. If CMC gets this kind of usage, he should have been the number 1 in every pick. He's the best player on the field. He's the most versatile player. Him and like LT at running back are probably my 2 favorite, most versatile of all time. Here's the numbers from the week, and they were up 20 points at half, right? So he had 22 carries, 152 yards, 3 receptions, 17 yards, and a touchdown. Insane usage. 89.2% snap share. So when we were up, and we were up 20, right? I'm sitting there watching the game. I'm like, take this guy out. Take this guy out. Like, he's going to get hurt. We don't need to be playing him into the 4th quarter up 20 points at Pittsburgh, which is also a good defense, supposedly, heading into the season. And they just kept feeding him. Like, Elijah Mitchell barely saw the field. I don't know if Shanahan's trying to just give McCaffrey a world record of fantasy points or what's going on, but this is insane. I'm never going to take him off green unless he gets hurt, of course. God rest he doesn't get hurt. But, I mean, he's unbelievable. He should have been number 1 in every league, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't think about that at the time. Elijah Mitchell, I'm going to put as a yellow, even though he didn't really see the field. I think this game could get away from the Rams, and you could see more Elijah Mitchell. But like I said, again, with Christian McCaffrey, I thought that would happen with the Steelers, and it didn't. But I'm going to give it one more shot at yellow with Elijah Mitchell in case, flex spot if you're injured or something like that, whatever it is. So think about that going into the game. Heading on to the Rams, this was very, very surprising to me. Everyone drafted Cam Akers in the 4th or 5th round. And Kyren Williams came out as the starting running back. Like, did Cam Akers have a problem with McVay? What happened? I don't know. Kyren Williams went for 15 carries, 52 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he played 75.3% of the snaps, which means that Cam Akers played 30, or barely like 28, I think it was, which is very, very interesting. If you didn't grab him off the wire, you should have, but in this game, I mean, the 49ers held the Steelers to like 39 yards last week. You're not going to play either one of these guys versus Niner D. It is a good play down the road. If, coming up with game scripts, they get Cooper Kupp back. It might help Kyren Williams, as they go. But I'm going to leave him in red right now. Cam Akers, also in red. He saw 22 carries with like a 1.5 average. It was not good. He salvaged his day with a touchdown at the end to save it for fantasy owners. But if you can get out from underneath Cam Akers right now, I would say do it. But with McVay, you never know. Like next week, Cam Akers could come out and be the guy and get 25 carries and start. So it's like, it's very tough with the Rams, but I do like Kyren Williams more heading forward. Heading into the second game here, it is going to be the Bears at the Bucs. So last week with Khalil Herbert, everyone kind of got on this Roschon Johnson train, but Roschon Johnson did all of that in garbage time, down, I think, 17 points at the time, and they scored at the end. Khalil Herbert, I believe, is still going to be the guy. He did have a rough start. The game script got away. He only had 9 rushes for 27 yards, but I do like the receiving work he got. He had 3 receptions for 37 yards. And with Justin Fields' ability to scramble, it's, that's always going to be there for an option. He only had 36% snap share, which was not good at all. That's something to be worried about for sure. But he also was, behind in the game, so I don't really know how to look at that like that. I want to see where the game script plays out before you jump on too early of, Khalil Herbert. He's going to lose the job. I'm not buying it yet at all. Roschon Johnson, is a guy that you should definitely be buying now if you can, even though he had a big game. So say this game right here, he has a slower game, which I'm predicting that he's not going to have as good as the game he had last game to come out and ball out as a rookie and get a touchdown, and he did very well. But if he has a bad game here, you buy now because I do think it may shift if the Bears start to lose. So that's something to think about right there. Deontay Foreman, red. He should be on the waiver wire, but I'll throw him on there just because he's part of the running back tandem. Heading over to the Bucs, this was very concerning for me. I was very, very high on Rachaad White, and I got a couple things to break down here with Rachaad White. So he played the Vikings, right? Week 1. Look what just happened to the Vikings last night by DeAndre Swift. The guy could have ran for like 9,000 yards. I mean, I don't know how Rachaad White didn't find any holes or nothing with 17 carries for 39 yards. He had a 2.3 yards per carry average. I know the Philly line is obviously way better than the Bucs, but that's still worrisome when the defense is bad and you can't produce still. And I thought that he would get more dink and dunks. He only had 2 receptions for 10 yards. That was also worrisome. So, I mean, Baker Mayfield is known to be the number 1 check down quarterback at 28%, and that didn't happen. But on the plus side, Rachaad White did play 78.5% snap share. That was number 5 at the position at running back. That's very nice heading into the season. I don't think Sean Tucker is coming for the job anytime soon, so I think he's set there. But, I mean, Sean Tucker could be a nice handcuff piece if you have Rachaad White, I'd say, but that's the only reason I'd, look for him. Or if you're in a deep league, maybe stash Sean Tucker, or if you play, Dynasty, it could be a taxi spot. But besides that, I'm not big on Sean Tucker yet. Heading into game 3, it is going to be the Ravens versus the Bengals, a division rivalry. I feel like both these teams got off to a slow start last week. If you watched my video before, I kind of talked about how the Bengals got trapped in the weather and the Ravens offense kind of got stuck in a game script where they're always running. So now we have the J.K. Dobbins injury, the inevitable out for the season injury. I mean, that's sad to say, but I think his career may be done, and he's super young and talented, but man, he just couldn't stay healthy. Now we're in to the Ravens wheel of death that I feel like happens every year. So I'm going to take the flyer here from camp reports earlier that Justice Hill won the job, and he's going to be my pick that's yellow. I'm still not even that excited about it because I don't even know how it's going to play out. So this is like a shot in the dark from camp reports and stuff like that. He did get 8 carries for 9 yards. They were all in the red zone, though, so you like that. He got 2 touchdowns in the red zone. He only had a 30% snap share once, Dobbins was out. That's not great. It is going to be a rotational wheel. I mean, I hope they sign like Leonard Fournette or Kareem Hunt or something. I mean, this is going to be rough to watch the whole way. But I'm going to put Gus Edwards in red, and Melvin Gordon got called up in the practice squad. I'm going to put him in red too. I mean, these aren't guys you can play with confidence at all. Heading over to the Bengals game, like I said, this was game script that really hurt the game. They fell behind. It was terrible weather. It was like one of the worst rainstorms. He did have, that nice little 25-yard run in garbage time to kind of save his day. He had 13 rushes for 56 yards, 3 receptions for 17 yards. It is an absolute plus because this is all Joe Mixon's backfield, and he's going to get a lot of passing work. Like last season is where his passing game really developed a lot more. I think he had 60 receptions last year, like 40 the year before that. So it's been going up and up and up. That's a good sign to see. Joe Mixon still only a 60% snap share, but that was game scripted. I'm not going to take one game and it's a terrible rain game. It's like looking at Trey Lance last year in Chicago in a monsoon. You can't judge that game. It was terrible. I'm going to give it as a pass on everybody. Jamar Chase did nothing. Higgins did nothing. Amari Cooper did nothing. Elijah Mitchell did nothing. Chubb was the only one that was good. Everybody did nothing. Everyone's going to bounce back this game. It's going to be one of my highest scoring games of the week. I cannot wait to watch this division rivalry game. Joe Mixon must start this week. Heading into the next game, it is going to be the Monday night rivalry. Pittsburgh versus the Browns in Pittsburgh. So starting off, Nick Chubb, I was so high on. I think he's going to lead the league in rushing, like again with the Bengals talk. He still got 106 yards in the game. He looked fantastic. He saw way more passing work. He had 4 receptions for 21 yards. It was the game script, man. I'm telling you. He's going to be a 100-yard carrier almost every game, in my opinion. He should average it on the season. He's always going to be green. He had still, He only played 50% snaps and he still did all that. So that just gives you a little thought to how that game went. And they were up so much and it was, back and forth. And Jerome Ford fumbled and he still played afterwards. So it was just one of those blemish games, like I said before. Nick Chubb's an always must start RB1 every time. I think he's going to lead the league in rushing 100%. Jerome Ford, red, unless injury for sure. Najee Harris was my number one sit-em running back last week. I don't know if I am sold, even though it was the Niners. And I know they have the best, run D. You always bench everyone versus the Niners. If you don't listen to me now. Never start a running back all year against the 49ers. He had 6 carries for 31 yards. They had 37 yards total as a team versus the Niner D rushing. It was terrible. But now, the problem I have with Najee here is, he's 51.6% snap share. Jaylen Warren with 49% snap share. So I don't even know if you can call Najee like a high-end RB2 now, because Jaylen Warren looks pretty good. He's going to see more of the field. And now they get Cleveland. Cleveland's defense is no joke, that's for sure. Najee Harris, in my opinion, right now, if you can get out, I kind of think you get out now. And I really like Najee, but the situation's just not great at all. Jaylen Warren, I'm going to put yellow as a player you could possibly flex start. If they get behind, like the Niner game, which I hope they don't, Deontay Johnson's out, that hurts. They are at home, but Jaylen Warren is the better pass catching back. He's better out of the backfield and better in open space. He's not like a stiff arm guy, but he's quicker, more agility. Like Najee's just going to run you over. This is a guy I'd be targeting kind of right now. Like if I'm low on Najee, then I'm going to be high on Jaylen. And it's not going to take that much draft capital to get him if you try and trade for him or something. But if you own Najee, you should definitely have Jaylen Warren as a handcuff. That's 100%. It's going to be the Raiders and the Bills. So I don't know if it was just me and the eye test with Josh Jacobs, but with number 8 on, I was like saying in other videos, he looked bigger. I don't know if it was his holdout and he looked, slower in camp or didn't get the workout, didn't get in shape enough. He will get in shape. He is the leading rusher from last year. He will be fine. This is a smash game for Josh Jacobs. The Bills defense just got ran over by Breece Hall coming off of ACL. Josh Jacobs had 19 attempts, only 48 yards. Wasn't a great showing for his first game back. 2 receptions, 23 yards. His actual snap share, though, he's a full-down workhorse back. It's ridiculous. He had 81.8. That's number 3 in the league. His opportunity share was number 2 in the league. His weighted opportunities were number 1 in the league. That is all just metrics to the roof. I don't know if you could really buy now on him because his name is so big, but Josh Jacobs is going to smash this week. Zamir White's going to be red, but again, it's like the Najee thing. I would love to have Zamir White as my handcuff if I have Josh Jacobs, because look at the numbers I just gave you. If anything happens to Jacobs, Zamir White would be instant RB2. Heading over to the Bills side, my guy all preseason, all year, James Cook. Everyone's kind of like, he's not, dude, he played the Jets defense. The Jets defense is top 3 elite, and there's no one else close to those defenses of the Niners, Cowboys, and Jets. He actually produced 12 carries, 46 yards, 4 receptions, 17 yards, and he had a wheel route where he went down the right side, and he was wide open, and Josh Allen missed the touchdown, so that would have changed the whole day. But James Cook is a buy now running back. This offense is so high-powered. He's going to see so many opportunities, and the passing game work makes you have to love James Cook. And Damian Harris is in the red. I think he saw like 6 snaps. Everyone was telling me, Damian Harris is going to steal all the goal line carries like Jamal Williams. This guy didn't even play, man. He had like 1 reception early in the game, and everyone kind of thought it was going to happen, and it just teetered out. He's going to be a handcuff option just like Zamir White, just like the other guys I talked about. Heading into the Chiefs-Jags game. So Isaiah Pacheco was a guy that I was really low on heading in. I didn't know, if they trusted him, if they're going to use Jerick McKinnon like last year. No, Isaiah Pacheco looked like the guy. They did come out with CEH, early, and everyone was like, oh, it's time to panic. Isaiah Pacheco was coming off injury. They kind of eased him back in. He still looked explosive, and he runs so hard. Even though he had 8 carries for 23 yards, it wasn't great. but the receiving work was very impressive with 4 catches and 31 yards. I didn't think he would see that many targets at the backfield. I thought McKinnon would be there passing down back. McKinnon barely saw the field. So, I mean, Pacheco is going to be a smash play this week, I think, against the Jags. This should be a high-scoring game. It's going to be one of my top 3 games of the highest score. I'm going to take the Jags to win this game, but Isaiah Pacheco, if RB2 status, definitely flex play for sure. He had 47% snap share, not great, but I think that's going to increase heading into the next week. Heading to the Jags side, the guy that I completely whiffed on, man. I thought all the camp talk of Tank Bigsby, he's going to take over. The coaches drafted him. ETN's not part of that coaching staff, dude. ETN had 18 carries, 77 yards, 5 receptions, 27 yards, 80% snap share, weighted opportunities 18.7, number 3, just like Josh Jacobs' stats. Team run plays that they ran as a team were number 4. They're smashing the run way more than last season by metrics. I mean, he ran 26 routes. That's number 4. He ran 81.3% route percentage. This was like the biggest steal of the draft right now to me. If ETN keeps these numbers up, it's going to be RB1 status. I mean, Tank Bigsby did vulture a goal line touchdown from him. You might see a couple of those, but I can live with that if ETN's putting up this much work. I mean, it's incredible. ETN to the moon. A little shout out to fantasy football right there. Fantasy football show. Heading into what I think is going to be one of the biggest grunge match games of the week, especially with Chase Young back, I'm going to put no one here in green in this game. And Brian Robinson still was definitely one of the steals at his ADP of the draft. He had 19 rushes, and everyone was saying, oh, draft Antonio Gibson higher. This is the Brian Robinson show. He even got a receiving touchdown. They say that his receiving work wasn't going to be nothing. He literally scored a receiving touchdown in the first game. So, I mean, it's 60% snap share to Antonio Gibson's 40, but it was, I think there'll be in a lot of grunge games. So, I mean, I could see a 60-40 split, but with the production he got, he's always a flex play. I'm not going to go green against Denver because I feel like this is just going to be ugly game. Like really, really ugly game here. So I'm going to put him in yellow. I'm going to go Antonio Gibson in red because he didn't even show up. Heading to the Broncos side, Javonte Williams and Samaje Perine was exactly what I said it was going to be on Twitter all year. 50-50 split, coming off ACL. I think it was 46 Javonte, 54 Perine snap share. I know he's coming off ACL, and you're going to work him back in slowly. I avoided him in most. I mean, he looked decent. I mean, the receiving work was really impressive, but he went nowhere with it. So, I mean, he had 13 carries, 52 yards, 5 targets, 4 receptions, but 5 yards. So, I mean, he caught the ball in the backfield and got tackled every time. The Denver offense, I thought, looked a little better, but their running game didn't look like the Sean Payton-style running game that I thought I would see. I'm going to leave them both in yellow. I mean, one could get a touchdown, at the goal line or something, and they'd be like, oh, I should have started him. It's a risk I don't want to take. The Washington run D is actually going to be good this week, especially with Chase Young back. I would avoid them at all costs unless I have to, throw a flex play in due to injury. Heading into the rookie battle of the week, I'm excited to actually see this matchup. I hope that CJ Stroud is not out for this game. They said he's questionable with the injury, shoulder injury. But for the running backs, Dameon Pierce. So Dameon Pierce, I'm super high on as a running back. Their schedule is brutal. I mean, he was my number 2 sit-em running back last week. I actually projected his points on point. It was like 5.4. I projected he got 5.3. He had 11 carries for 38 yards. They played the Ravens week 1 with a rookie quarterback. I mean, what could you expect? He had 2 receptions, 9 yards. But I don't judge it off this game because it was such a tough matchup. He did only see like 50% snaps too because they were down so much. It just became so out of hand for them. It was very, very bad. CJ Stroud didn't look bad though for a rookie. I'll throw that in for throwing him into the doghouse literally against the Baltimore Ravens on the road. But Dameon Pierce, I feel like this is a smash play for him. Should see 10 plus points, possibly a TD. I feel like it's going to be a 2020 close rookie battle game. It's not going to get crazy out of hand. I actually like Dameon Pierce volume that he will see a lot this week. He is RB2 status. Now, the Colts side, this is ugly, man. They need Jonathan Taylor back so bad, it's out of control. I mean, or either the offensive line is bad. So Deion Jackson got the start last week. Let's listen to this. 13 carries for 14 yards. He had a 1.1 average. They got manhandled by the Jags D-line, which is very nerve-wracking because now the Texans D-line didn't look bad against the Ravens, by the way. They were on the field the whole game, so you could look at the stats as, oh, yeah, they got ran over. Dude, they were on the field like 40 time of possession the whole time. So, I mean, I will give Zach Moss, he did end last year with, I'll put him in yellow just because the volume he'll see might be good. I mean, he did end last year with like 78 yards a game for like the last 4 games. Not bad for him. But there's not much to like on the Colts running back side at the moment at all. I wouldn't like target any of these guys. I mean, if you need a dart flex throw, maybe Zach Moss and like a 2 QBR super flex or something with his 3 spots. But besides that, I'm trying to avoid that 100%. Now, this game I'm also looking forward to watch after watching that Bills-Jets game on Monday night. That Jets defense looks for real. But we're going to talk about the running backs here. And this is where I'm going to get a little crazy outside the box, what other people say right here. Breece Hall, I was out on all preseason, all tweets, everything I said. I wasn't a fan, didn't like the ACL. Yeah, he got 10 carries and 127 yards. He took a wide open draw. The hole was, 10 linemen open, ran straight ahead for 80 yards. And if you're listening to Eli Manning or you saw any of those clips, he's like, while he's running, he goes, he doesn't look in shape, he doesn't look healthy, and he gets caught on a breakaway. So, yeah, he got the big run. I'm still not fully sold yet, but man, when he gets fully healthy, he's a superstar running back, yes. Now they get the ferocious Cowboy defense. I am putting Breece. I'm putting Dalvin. If you watched my video before, I'm putting Garrett Wilson for the wide receivers. This is going to be ugly, boys. I mean, if I know it's hard to bench him after a massive game like that if you own Breece, but this is that call I'm telling you right now that it is time to bench Breece Hall this game. Heading over to the Cowboys side, and Dalvin Cook I'm going to keep in red too. All of them. I don't want anything to do with the Cowboys defense. Tony Pollard. Man, if you were in your draft and you were at pick 4 or 5 in round 1 and you were thinking, or 6, 7, you're thinking Bijan, you were thinking Nick Chubb, you were thinking Saquon. All those thoughts were wrong. Tony Pollard is that dude, man. He looked incredible in the game, and they were up like 40-0 in the first 5 seconds. It seemed like the Giants got manhandled. 14 carries, 70 yards, 5.0 yards per carry average, 2 receptions, 12 yards, 2 touchdowns, right? Now, he only played 63% of the snaps, right? All those numbers, 20-point bomb on minimal work. Imagine when they're in a game where like the defense keeps them in the game. We didn't even get to see the Cowboys offense that game. Like that was just atrocious by the Giants. I can't believe they came out that flat as a playoff winning team last year. Very, very nervous about the Giants this year after that game. But Tony Pollard is an RB1 status, like dark horse. He may do it, man. I mean, I know the CMC's incredible. Like, he's not CMC status, but man, he's coming, folks. Like he's RB1, RB2, RB top 3 this year for sure, no doubt. I'd put him, Chubb, and CMC if they all stay healthy. The sky is the limit for Tony Pollard. Heading into the next game, this was kind of surprising last week. So I didn't expect the Patriots offense to look that good to start off. I have a star up there that we're going to get to in a second. So Raheem Mostert, 10 carries, 37 yards, and 2 of his carries for 12 yards. So that's 24 yards right there. If you think about the rest, he had 9 carries for about a yard, right? If you do the math on that. 2 receptions, 13 yards, 31 years old. I know he's going to get the projections and stuff in fantasy, but if you can get away and, maybe boost your roster with tagging him with someone else to upgrade a wide receiver, upgrade at running back, or upgrade at tight end, now is the time to do that. Devon Achane is healthy. He is better by a mile than Raheem Mostert, and everyone's going to see it this week. I know that Achane's small and people worry about his size. Don't worry about it. Let's see it go. This offense is about creating space in Miami. This is what they do. They're not going to run AK up the middle like a tiny guy. They're going to get him in space, let him work. He's electric. I'm telling you, wait till you see this guy play this week. Go snag him on your wire or try and buy low right now. It's not going to take that much capital to trade for him unless that person has like a keeper league or a dynasty or something. They're not going to give him up, obviously. But redraft, go get him right now. Star it, Devon Achane. Heading to the Patriots side. Buy now, buy now, buy now on Ramondre Stevenson. You rarely get an elite running back off a bad game and they make the second, the RB2 behind him look good. So this is that time. He had an illness. I don't think he played the full game. He was literally like sick the game before. All the updates where he's questionable. He still put up 12 for 25, but he had 6 receptions for 64 yards. This guy is an animal, man. I'm telling you, this is the time to buy. He had played 74% of the snaps to Zeke's 26. I mean, I think that was due. They stayed in the game. That was due to the illness, I'm going to say on that. He ran 34 routes as a running back, #1 in the NFL. Tell me that you don't want to buy this right now. Like, you have to. He didn't score high. You even trade higher pieces right now to get Ramondre. It is his season. It is the Ramondre season coming. Zeke saw 7 receptions. I don't know if I keep Zeke in yellow this week. I think Zeke falls down this week. I don't think you see him with as much work. Maybe if the Dolphins get ahead, he might see a couple pass routes here and there. But, I mean, it's Ramondre time. And to drop you the last stat for Ramondre, he had 82 yards created by himself on those catches, by the way. So 64 yards in space, 20 yards rushing. These are after he passes the line of scrimmage. This guy is the dude. It's him. Trade now. The next game here, it is going to be the Packers at the Dirty Bird Falcons. So all 4 of these are going to be green, and I'm going to explain that why right now. I mean, Aaron Jones had himself a day on minimal work. He was RB1 on the week, but he popped his hammy at the end, and he's a veteran. So we don't know if he's going to play yet. So that's why I have A.J. Dillon green. But Aaron Jones, 9 attempts, 41 yards, 4.6 per carry, 2 receptions, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns, 46 yards per reception. I mean, this guy was electric. I wanted to target him. I got sniped in so many leagues. But he only played 46% of the snaps, and he still did all of that. So, I mean, if he's hurt and they're playing the Falcons, I mean, God, they didn't even pass the ball. I think Ritter had like 15 attempts. So, I mean, if they get ahead in this game, and I think the Packers looked really good. I don't think they're going to have to worry about the Falcons much, even though they're on the road. But that's why I have A.J. Dillon in green, because if Aaron Jones is even limited a little bit, they're not going to risk their superstar running back. They're going to feed the beast. They're going to feed the big boy. A.J. Dillon's going to rumble. I'm going to call a touchdown, 10-plus points for A.J. Dillon this week. He could be an RB2 or a flex start. Even if they give me, like, Aaron Jones is limited. Even if I see that, Saturday he's going to run a little bit and he'll try before the game. He'll, test it out. Give me Dillon right here. This is one of my calls that I'm going to go with. A.J. Dillon, 10-plus points and a touchdown. You can start him on your team 100%. Heading over to the Falcons side, Bijan Robinson, man, did he not look electric? But there's a big asterisk right there, exclamation point. 10 carries, 56 yards, 5.6 yards per carry. All looks amazing behind the big #1 offensive line, #1 run zone, everything, all perfect. The reception game was amazing, 6 for 27. His little scamper shook the guy, broke 2 tackles. You have to love everything you saw, except that he had a 64% snap share, and Tyler Algier looked better than he did last year. I mean, Tyler Algier didn't just rush for 1,000 yards last year and is a nobody running back. I mean, I honestly think Tyler Algier looked better running between the tackles. I mean, it's just my thought. I know that Bijan's a superstar in the making. I know all that, but so Algier had 15 for 75 and 2 touchdowns. They had 25 runs as a team. It was pretty much time. Well, Bijan saw more of the field because of passing work, but Tyler Algier saw more of the run game, and he looked better. So that's very nerve-wracking for Bijan owners because I know how Arthur Smith is going to run this offense. Even if they're down, they're going to grind the run, grind the run. It's just how he does it. It was a very sad day for all the passing guys in Atlanta. I feel so bad for Kyle Pitts. But all these guys, I'm going green. Of course, if Aaron Jones is out, I'm going red. But A.J. Dillon, remember that. Remember it. Heading over to another division rival game. We're going to have the Saints and the Panthers. So I know that Kamara is suspended for 3 games. Jamal Williams, I'm going to put in yellow. And I'm going to put Kendre Miller in yellow. And here's why. So the Saints found out, literally, that Jamal Williams is not a full running back at all. I mean, their offensive line, their running game looked terrible in a grunge game that was all field goals where he should have shined, right? He had 18 attempts for 45 yards, 2.5 yards per carry, 2 receptions. He had the workload and did nothing with it. So that's why I have Kendre Miller in yellow because this guy, Kendre Miller, if he didn't get hurt in the TCU championship game, he would have been a first-round running back. Just think about that for a second as we're talking about it. Now he's back healthy, practice, ready to go for the game. They just saw what Jamal Williams did. Are they really going to not let Kendre Miller in? Like, I don't think it's going to be the same. Jamal Williams, 18 touches this, or 20 touches this game. I think it's a 10-10 split. Kendre Miller's going to look way more explosive than Jamal Williams with the ball. That's a given. I mean, this is one of my I don't want to say buy now because Kamara's coming back, but dynasty. I mean, I was all over this guy. Keeper leagues. Kendre Miller next year is going to be the guy. The writing is on the wall for Kamara to be gone in New Orleans. I mean, the past 2 years, Kamara's snap share has dropped from 70 to 60. His TD regression is down like 5 to 4. It's down like 9 in 2 years. The writing's on the wall for Kamara to be gone. This is his last shot because the Saints will be a playoff team this year. The division's very bad. That's why these guys all have value, but it's very tough after watching game 1. Their offensive line looked terrible. I'm going to leave them in yellow. Heading over to the Panthers side, very impressive performance from Miles Sanders, who took a lot of bashing from people that he's not going to be able to do the 3-down roll. This is a buy now running back. He looked amazing. He had 18 carries, 72 yards, 4 receptions, 26 yards. Took all this, look at his snap share here. He had a 64% snap share in a game where they were down and they were still running. I know Chuba Hubbard got 29%. They mixed in Blackshear here and there. They're not going to be in a lot of games. That's the problem. But he was number 2 in the NFL in weighted opportunities. That behind Josh Jacobs. Plus, target share, number 4, 19% for running back. Plus, I mean, there's so many signs to like about Miles Sanders right now. And you got to get him before the production stays the same and keeps elevating. And, if he scores a touchdown, then there's no chance you're going to get him, right? So this is the time to buy now on Miles Sanders, his full down workload, workhorse running back. You got to go for it 100%. Chuba Hubbard, I'm going to leave in red, but he is a great handcuff. If you own Miles Sanders, you should be handcuffing him. And with Miles Sanders, he's had a couple injuries here and there. Could, I'm not wishing an injury on someone, but Chuba Hubbard is a great handcuff running back to have for sure. Yes. I've been waiting to talk about this game, the Chargers and the Titans. If you didn't listen to my Twitter or TikTok or everything I posted about, go get Joshua Kelly with your waiver wire 1 with your fab. Do not blow it on Puka Nacua. Trust me, that's not going to pan out. That's a waste. And Joshua Kelly's going to be the guy here. So the Austin Eckler update is that he's doubtful. I know I saw it update that he's traveling with the team. I think that's just smokescreen because they're 0-1. He's not going to play from the reports. They were saying he's out 3 to 5 weeks. And now they're kind of saying he's doubtful or he's going to travel with. I'm not buying any of that. This is going to be the Joshua Kelly show. I'm going to put Joshua Kelly in the top 15 to top 10 running backs of the week going up against a tough run D, okay? So he ran for 16 carries, 91 yards, 5.7 yards a carry, had that big explosive run, which helps his average, obviously, right? But here's the metrics that you need to listen to right here, okay? Joshua Kelly was number 3 in run block percentage, boy running back, which every quarterback absolutely loves, okay? He was number 2 in team run, play per game status with Austin Eckler. So You're not just getting him at a RB1 status of Austin, or RB, I'll say he's RB2, of Austin Eckler's hurt. He was still getting carries and producing with him, which is the stat I gave you. So he will have value either way. And now that Eckler is gone, it is just going to be massive. So it's so much to like about Joshua Kelly. If I'm, hate to put any injury thing on Austin Eckler, but the red zone touches that he had, he was number 4 in the league in red zone touches. I mean, every metric is insane to pick him up now in a high-powered offense. I don't know how long Eckler's going to be out, but I do think even though that Eckler's hurt, it's still going to be a 50-50 split or 60-40 either way. And Kelly could have flex value every week in this offense. But while Eckler is out, this is league-winning status at running back right here. Heading over to King Henry. This is his smash game right here. This is top 5 King Henry, run him over game, 100%. He's going to be green every week no matter what. But, I mean, this matchup, the Chargers defense, Bosa, Ingram out. I mean, their defense is shot to shit. Henry's going for 30, folks. He's going for 30 points this week. I'm going to call it right now. Let's go 26. Let's make it a little 26 for King Henry, always green. Now, the thing to talk about here, Henry only did all that, so he went for 15 carries, 63 yards, 2 receptions, 56 yards receiving. I didn't think Henry would get 56 yards receiving, but that's very nice. But listen to this. That game was close the whole way, right? It was 47% snap share to 53 for Tyjae Spears. If you have not picked up Tyjae Spears, do it now. Because if the Titans fall out of this and D-Hop might not play this week and the Chargers are coming off 0-1, they're going to be pissed. They're going to come out lit. If they go 0-2 or 0-3 and turn it to Will Levis here, they're going to look to trade King Henry for pieces for next year. So if you own Tyjae Spears, or if he's on the wire, go get him now. Because I don't know how long it's going to last. But, I mean, King Henry's always going to be green every week. You can't stop the guy. But go get Tyjae 100%. Heading into the highest scoring game of 2022. I'm not going to say it's the highest scoring this year, but I want to know where are all the Zach Charbonnet tweeters that were giving me all this Zach Charbonnet nonsense all offseason. That Charbonnet was a second-round pick. He's coming for the job. He played 6 snaps, bro. This is the Kenneth Walker show. If you ever used your eye test and watched the running backs play from college to pro, Kenneth Walker's 10 times better than Charbonnet. I mean, it's buy now on Kenneth Walker. Buy. My theory behind Charbonnet, which you can believe it or not, it's just something I know from, I'm a Niner fan. We play Seattle twice a year. The Seahawks for the past 3 years have had their RB1, RB2, RB3 get hurt multiple times in the season. That was their thought process with Charbonnet. It wasn't that Charbonnet was going to come in and take over Kenneth Walker and be the RB1. He is there for injury help down the road. They are looking to be a playoff team. Well, not after week 1, but they're looking to be a playoff team, make a push. They need the depth. Zach Charbonnet's not going to play. I couldn't believe I was getting into these arguments on Twitter with people. I'm like, you guys are crazy, bro. So here's the numbers, okay? Kenneth Walker, 12 rushes, 64 yards, 4 receptions. That was nice to see. They're like, Kenneth Walker can't be good out of the backfield. He looked good. He didn't have a lot of receiving yards. He was caught in the backfield like Javonte Williams a lot. Their offensive line was shambles. They had a lot of injuries going into the game. But here you go. He had 80% usage for Kenneth Walker. 80, okay? That means the Charbonnet saw less than 20 or 20 or less. I mean, I don't want to hear it anymore. The Charbonnet lovers, get out. Get out of here. Nothing. Buy everything you can on Kenneth Walker. He was also the number 2 target shared running back in the NFL with his 4 receptions. That's number 2. That's great to see. When he wasn't supposed to have any of that. He had the longest breakaway run on the week. He didn't. No, that was wrong. He had the number 5. He was number 5 in breakaway run. Sorry. He had one of them. That's all I was looking at. That was wrong. Evaded tackles, 2 of them. I mean, I love all the Kenneth Walker I could get. If you can go get him, buy him on the cheap now. This is league-winning potential running back and a value that you're not, like Ramondre Stevenson. You're not going to see an RB1 have a bad game with a backup where you can buy him right now. So this is the time. Heading over to the Lions side, this was depressing, man. I was so high. Well, it's not really depressing, but I was so high on Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, the Lions trade up to get him, and they fed Montgomery. I know that it's Gibbs' first game, but Montgomery had 21 carries, 74 yards, 0 receptions. He's not going to get any receptions normally. But 21 carries is workload. That's RB1 workload. So I did see the update, that they're going to work Gibbs in more. It was his first game. But Montgomery looks like he's RB2 flex play all the way until anything changes at this moment. I mean, he had still 77% snap share to Gibbs' 23, which that's very, very impressive for David Montgomery. If you drafted him late, you hit money at the right spot for sure. Now, heading to Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm going green. This game is going to be high scoring. I'm not going for the highest scoring game of the week, but this is Jahmyr Gibbs' time to shine right here. Seattle's defense is beat up. They now have Jamal Adams is out too, their superstar safety. They should I'm going to say they get ran out the building here by the Lions, honestly. I mean, Amon-Ra should eat, but Jahmyr Gibbs is going to break one. This is going to be a bold prediction. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to break a 40-plus yard TD this game. Imagine if he didn't fall down last week, right? So he didn't play that much, yeah, but he had 6 broken tackles as a rookie, which was like 5 times more than anyone else. Like the leading last year was like 42. So he's already on pace to break the record in less snaps than anything. So, I mean, a lot to like here. You can't really buy now on him because the draft capital that was used on him by people is so much. But, man, he looked electric. He missed a wide-open touchdown. He ran too fast and fell down. I love Jahmyr Gibbs so much this season. I hope it comes to fruition here soon. And last but not least, we get to talk about the bold call at the bottom. I'm going to get to that last. But this is going to be the Giants versus the Cardinals, man. And if the Giants don't win this game, and you're an owner of, I'm not going to say Saquon Barkley because you're not going to trade Saquon Barkley, but if you're an owner of Danny Dimes or Waller, and they lose this game, it's going to be rough heading into next week for any owners of Waller or Jones. But Saquon Barkley, I do believe, will be the RB1 this week. This should be the Saquon show. This is why I'm like, in my next video, you'll see with tight ends. I'm not high on Waller playing him this week. I feel like the Giants bounce back, they get ahead, and they dominate. But if they don't, man, I'm going to panic. So I have Saquon at 1, Breida obviously red, but he's the backup, so I'll throw him on there. Now, James Conner. No metrics you can show are going to tell you that he should go for 20 this game. I mean, except, that Tony Pollard ripped him apart. Dowdle ripped him apart. Deuce Vaughn ripped him apart. The Giants' run D looked terrible. So this is where James Conner, down or up, if they're down 20 or whatever it is, he's the guy. He's going to get all the workload. He had 14 carries for 62 yards. He had 7 targets for 5 receptions, only 8 yards. Again, kind of like Javonte Williams, I was saying, caught in the backfield like Kenneth Walker. But the workload is there. He's 84% snap share. Number 2 in the NFL. 79.2% opportunity share. Number 4 in the NFL. Weighted opportunities, 16.3. Number 10 in the NFL. 5 receptions, number 4 on the week at the running back position. Target share, 16.7%. Number 7. Routes run, 23. Number 7. Route percentage, 77%. Number 4. If you didn't draft James Conner, you're out of your mind. He got all the work. He's just on a terrible team. But he's a full bell cow, all do it running back. Trade now, buy now. I hope he doesn't get traded, but God, his stats are ridiculous. He's going for 20 this week. That's my bold call. Book it. And that is it for my running back tiers, guys. Thank you for watching. This is my 2nd tier video ever. I'm trying to get better and better. My voice is still shot. I don't know if it's like a strep recovery or what's going on, but I keep coughing nonstop. If you guys like the content, as always, like and subscribe. Let me take that bold call off. It's right to the bottom of the screen. All the support is appreciated, guys. And I will catch you in the next one.